and Joe Max Higgins stops by. I got to be honest with you. The first time that you and I met and visited was a few months ago at Sally Kate Winters.
That's right.
And Joe is the CEO of Link, Golden Triangle Development Link. And I really enjoyed our conversation. It was good to visit with you and learn about some of the things that are going on here in the greater Golden Triangle area.
Thank you.
How are you, man?
I'm good.
Good. Prairie Arts, I mean, this is local to West Point. You've been around here coming up next weekend. How big a deal is this?
It's a big deal. We didn't realize when we moved here, it is a big deal. My wife, I don't think, has missed one.
Okay.
And, yeah, I mean, it's if you're looking for, like, good art for your house or something like that, and just walk around and people look and say, it's about as good as it gets.
Got the festival, you got food, music, the art, the whole
the
deal.
Art. I mean, yeah, and I think there you can go a
You
lot.
a big art guy?
My wife and my daughter are.
Okay.
And do I look like I'm an art guy?
Oh, no, but I don't want to judge a book by its cover.
But my point is, you can go get a funnel cake a lot of places. Okay, but some of the art and stuff they have here is, it's not. A lot of festivals you go to, like trinkets and stuff like that. They got some real stuff that you put in your house.
Yeah. What's going on at Link right now?
Oh, kind of busy. Issued a press release yesterday on a $43 million expansion of one of our aerospace companies.
Okay.
Aurora Boeing, 60-something new jobs, $5,000 a year pay, so pretty neat. We're building a new office out there. The biochar, the aluminum plant are still being built. The Cinco mega site, we're setting up for the end of the year to get ready to buy right after the first of the year. All the environmental's done. We've got probably 5 companies looking at it right now. I don't think it'll be on the market long. Got deals working here in West Point and in Starkville as well. Fixing to build a 200,000 square foot pad in Starkville to complement 100,000. These are pad ready sites. The companies just come in and they can cut out a lot of the time. And especially the seasonality, you get ready to come in,
sure, and
start building in January, February. And
it's like, we got to sit for 4 months.
You got to sit, and now the pad's ready. So the quicker you can come in and get your slab done, you're going vertical.
So that's a little bit of Field of Dreams stuff. That's if you build it, they will come. You shared with me last time we visited that is not without a significant investment, but it is a calculated investment also, right?
That's right. We're doing the Cinco represents our 5th mega site. Okay. So the first site was the steel mill. Second site was the pack car plant. The third plant was Yokohama here in West Point, the third one. And then the fourth one's the aluminum mill. And each and every time we've invested and paid for it and made money. So the Cinco mega site is actually going to be acquired and paid for within just a few $100,000 of proceeds and profits over debt that we made on the aluminum mill. So we're planning on house money.
Yeah.
Not for the water and the sewer. We still gotta get the money for that. But
so in theory, you're paying cash for it. I mean, even if it's more of an investment vehicle, but you've got the money to cover the cost.
Yeah.
And so it makes it a little more low risk.
Yeah. So some of the not the county elected officials, but some of the county bureaucrats, as I'll call them, were wrenching their hands. The Cinco mega site's $54 million.
Okay.
Okay, that's the number fully loaded.
So that's how profitable the aluminum plant.
Well, that was just for the land part. That's for the water and the sewer. But they said, how are we going to do this? And we brought them in, and we've been doing this. We've been doing it 21 years. So we've been doing this long enough that tax abatements go on, they go off, fee and lieu's go on, go off, and we set them down and said, you can do this. And you can have year 1 and 2. Year 1's a little profit. Year 2's a little deficit. Starting in year 3, it's $5, $6, $7, $8 million a year profit over debt after they pay for this stuff.
And that goes to the county?
Oh yeah. And that's how we've been able to do this. And in 2 years. The fee and lieu goes off at the paint shop at the steel mill. In 1 or 2 years, the fee and lieu goes off in Yokohama. And what that means is what the schools and the counties are getting in that goes up. When it goes off, fee and lieu goes up generally 2.5 times.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we've got the solar farms
So those are some of the incentives that you put in place to attract.
So a big deal. It used to be $100 million, it's $60 million now. In the state of Mississippi, if something's over $60 million, they qualify for a fee and lieu. And if you want to,
that's fee, F-E-E, and lieu, L-I-E.
In lieu of, yeah,
okay.
in lieu of fee, in lieu of tax. And so what you can do is you can charge them as low as a third for the taxes, third of the school tax, third of the city and or county tax. Most of our projects are in the county, so it's just county and schools. They pay a third. At the end of 10 years, they go back on the books at the depreciated value, but it usually goes up about 2.5 times.
Okay.
So they get a break, and what we do is we take a portion of that fee and lieu money they pay to the county, and we reinvest it in the deal. And that's how we buy land and run water and run sewer. That's how we did our first project. And we made dividends. And we had supervisors that were, 3 of them were millionaires, businessmen. And they said, let's don't shoot it up our arm. Let's don't smoke it out of a pipe. Let's don't drink it out of a sack. Let's reinvest it in hard assets, water, sewer, land, roads, water tanks, those kind of things.
So having supervisors with business experience and vision is maybe the biggest key to make all of this work, or certainly one of them.
No, because here's the deal, Richard. We you know, the way we're set up, and we're set up a little different than a lot of places. We call it show and go. The show is me, my staff, our overhead, our offices, our software programs, and that's the show. The go is the product.
Yeah.
And we tell each of our 3 counties, if you won't go, it's your responsibility to pay for it. We'll help you. We'll identify the property. We'll do all the work. We'll do it for you. But if you want a park, industrial park, it's not ours. We're not going to build it out of our money. We're going to build it out of your money.
Yeah.
And so we call it show and go. And all 3 of our
Clay, Lowndes, and October are the 3 counties.
That's right. And each and every one of them have done more than their fair share of go. And they've got product to show for it.
Yeah. It's an incredible operation. I was so we've been on the road this week. We were at Mississippi Gulf Coast for Sports Talk on Tuesday afternoon, Philadelphia yesterday at Pearl River Resort, and then I just drove straight here. And I missed my turn coming into town, like to turn in to go down to the hotel last night. And so was that 25 that I was on at that point?
I don't know where you stayed.
Well, I mean, but the road that I missed the turn, I was at the Hampton Inn, just right down here on Main Street. So
as the locals call it, 45 alternate.
There
45, 45
so I missed the turn onto 45, and I kept going straight. And it's the first time I'd been down that way, so I drove past Community University, which is an incredible
You've
building.
never been there?
I haven't.
Oh, my God.
I know we've done remotes there, but I've never been there.
Yeah.
And then I drove past Pacor.
Packard.
What an incredible facility. And then you were talking to me last time about land. That's one of the things that's available here. I mean, you've got fields that are flat, and obviously dirt work and sewer and water has to be done, but you're starting with a pretty good canvas, if you will. It's incredible.
Yeah, and if you'd have taken the airport exit and gone down on the east side of the airport is probably a $3.5 billion steel mill complex on 1,200 acres. And on the other side of the airport is a $2.5 billion aluminum mill under construction on 2,200 acres. Yeah, you just saw the
just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, the facade in Packard, and Packard is about 500,000 square feet. The steel mill is over 2, and the aluminum mill is over 3.
It's incredible.
Million.
And then you said those pad sites in Starkville, 200,000 square feet?
We've already got 100,000 square foot one, and we just started this week advertising for a 200,000 square foot pad ready site. And we've got companies that are looking at them because, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to offer that site. We're going to say, here's 20, 25 acres. We're going to give you the land. The pad's already built. The pad costs the 200,000 square foot pad's $3 million pad.
Yeah. We're
going to give you the pad, and water and sewer and streets are there.
Based on the size of that property, the 25 acres, is that pad scalable for expansion?
Yes. Most everything we do, if we tell you we're building a 50,000 square foot building, it's built in to go to 100. If we tell you 100, it's built in to go. So that pad, that site could go up to 400,000 square feet. That's why we don't ever want to get a company that comes in, lands on a site, needs to grow, and doesn't have enough land.
Yeah.
If we do anything, Quality Beverage is building a 50, 100, going to 100,000 square foot building. We put them on 25 acres, so they'll have room to grow.
Got plenty of room to grow. You good to hang around for another segment?
You got me as long as you need me.
Very good. Joe Max Higgins, he is CEO of Link, Golden Triangle Development Link, Clay County, Lowndes County, Oktibbeha County. Great stuff going on. Joe's a great storyteller. You know that he's been on with Paul a bunch through the years, and glad to have him on this morning as well. We are broadcasting live in downtown West Point. You make it fun, Lisa? We're projecting that message with Prairie Arts Festival coming up next weekend here, Labor Day weekend.
Festival.
Quick time out. We're back with you. It's the Gallo Show on SuperTalk Mississippi. 6, getting you ready for Prairie Arts. The Prairie Arts Festival coming back for the 46th year to West Point next weekend, Labor Day weekend. And there's a lot going on, right? Get the start of football season. We were talking with Lisa earlier. Said you can spend the morning at Prairie Arts Festival and then ease over and get set up for a tailgate and the start of the football season in Starkville.
That's right.
Lot going on.
I think my Ole Miss friends are looking forward to football more than my Mississippi State friends, if the truth be known.
Why do you say that?
Well, I just I think we're wondering what it's going to be at Mississippi State, and unless the wheels fall off at Ole Miss, I think we kind of know what it's going to be.
Yeah. Cautious optimism, maybe. I think a good way to look at it. I think a lot of people are excited about offensively what Mississippi State under Jeff Lebby is going to look like. I was there for the spring game.
Last year was painful, and I think I was with 5 of my buddies. I'm not a Mississippi State graduate, although I work for them, work with them, and we're big supporters and go to every game. But I think everybody wants to see excitement. I think they're looking forward to the offense and to be competitive. Yeah. And, a guy can't do it in 1 year, so, have reasonable expectations.
I'm a big fan of Jeff Lebby.
Yeah.
Got to know him a little bit in his time in Oxford and have been able to interview him a few times since then. Did the spring game television broadcast for that, and I do think there's reason to be excited. Yeah. I'm not so sure that there aren't some growing pains that go along with it. But
well, the pundits say 4 games, the 3 whipping boys and Arizona State, and you got to think, God, man, surely to God 1 or 2 more.
Got to be more than that, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I hope.
We'll see. We'll see how
I'll
it
tell you
plays
what
out.
it does. When we have, and it's Oxford too, when we have good football, good baseball, and good basketball, it's cha-ching for our communities. Because hotel rooms are full, restaurants are full. The life is better when you're winning.
It's funny you say that. So there's the very tangible economic effect. Hotel rooms are full, restaurants, like you said. But I think there's an intangible effect as well. My wife owns a small business in Oxford, and when you're winning, people feel better.
They walk
and they're
upright.
more excited, and they stand up a little taller. And they seem to be like they're willing to go to that wallet or that purse a little more often when things are good, as opposed to you're down in the dumps. And of course, real estate follows.
Oh, yeah. Everybody wants
success
want a game house. I mean, nobody wants to go buy a game house when, you're not winning.
That's right.
But, Mayor Sprill and I were talking a few years ago, I guess the first time we didn't host a regional in baseball. And a regional, you've got 3 visiting teams coming in. And that's big. And everybody talks about super regional. I know it's in the concept it's a bigger game. It's only 2 teams, though.
Right.
But if you can get lucky enough to do a regional and a super regional in baseball, that's almost free money.
Yeah. Because you can't necessarily budget that tax revenue in.
You shouldn't.
That's probably wise not to do it. We got to get back to that, though, with postseason baseball in Mississippi, because it's a heck of a lot of fun, no doubt. We were talking during the break a little bit. John Turner was on with us earlier this morning from 4 counties, and I had him give us a very basic electric tutorial. And I said, hey, you may be listening and say this is a dumb question right now, but how do we get electricity from the big boys at TVA to the point that I'm charging my cell phone in the wall in my house? And he kind of took us through that, but, I feel like you gave me a master class a little bit a second ago in terms of power generation, the needs, the requirements. I said to John earlier, I feel like a lot of times we just kind of take electricity for granted and don't think about it until it's not there. When the lights go out, all of a sudden, your refrigerator's not running, the freezer went off, and all of the things that we do that we rely on electricity for, we take for granted. You don't have the luxury of taking power generation and power supply for granted when you're talking about these mega centers for massive companies and really, really big outfits.
That's right. I mean, you know, we're you know, our power comes from TVA. They got the ability to serve about 30,000 megawatts valley-wide. And probably 6 times a day, I look at the chart to see where we are.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it'll be near 30 in the cold winter. It'll be near 30 in the hot summer. And when it gets up to that point, systems start getting ready to break. And what, 2-3 Christmas Eves ago, we had rolling brownouts in TVA land. Christmas Eve, my electricity went off 3 times Christmas Eve.
Really?
For 15 minutes because of the usage. And I think what's happened is...
So 2 years ago is when we had that really cold snap right before Christmas.
With my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my daughter, my son-in-law, everybody at my house. And at 5:30, I got a text on my Apple Watch, and it said, your electricity's going to shut off. And my CPAP quit working, and I knew they were telling the truth.
No.
And in 15 minutes, it came back on. And it went on and off twice before everybody else at the house got up. Nobody knew it. But that was the first signal. I'm the owner of a whole house generator, natural gas fired now, by the way. But I think what's happened is mean cold, nasty cold. Let's all go green, and we've gotten caught with our drawers down. And the bad part of that is that's happened at the time that AI and crypto and data centers are coming more and more prevalent. And if we don't,
because that data mining just is,
it eats it up.
Just eats power.
It eats it up. It's just computers just running. You know, somebody says it's like having a whole bunch of 100-watt light bulbs in your house. Well, that's right, but it's a whole bunch of them. But it just sucks the power. And I was talking to one of my solar guys, the guy that's in charge of the West Point projects we're building right now, and he said, look, we're solar and we're into solar, but he said, we got to figure this out because this AI thing and power is a national security issue. Really? And it must be figured out. And so everybody's scrambling right now. You know, we're building a new 6-turbine power generation plant in Caledonia to be next door to one that already exists. I'm telling them they need to plan on a third one. There was a third one planned years ago. Let's go ahead and plan on that. For us to do what we do, Richard, we've got to have power. We bat about 250, maybe 300 on little deals.
Okay.
But on big deals, our batting average is way up there. But the big deals use a lot of power, a lot of water, a lot of sewer. They hire a few people, but they pay them real well, and the capital investment's off the chart. That's the deal of the future.
Interesting stuff. So in terms of the future of power generation, obviously TVA is not going away. You've got nuclear sites, but they take a long time to build. They're really, really expensive. Is natural gas as the primary power source the future?
Well, what we're seeing...
And are we worried about quantities of natural gas?
Well, you know, I guess that'll be the next question we'll be answering. But what we're seeing, and we've got multiple data centers looking right now, and they are all looking at... Elon Musk is building, reportedly, not reportedly, it's been announced, whether it is or it isn't me, I can't testify, supposedly the world's largest supercomputer at Memphis.
Right.
And the TVA board hadn't approved it. He has brought in generation gas.
But he doesn't need their approval, apparently.
Well, evidently not, because he is, the general manager of Light and Water told Brian Clark at Fort County that, he said, my economic developer says they're going to bring in generators. He said, Brian, they're already here. They're putting in turbines, and they're going to burn natural gas and make electricity to fire that facility. And I think that's the new normal for right now until the power thing can be caught up. And let's don't paint it's just TVA. I think it's all the power companies don't have enough power, and so something's got to be figured out. And most of them tell us in 5 or 6 years they think this will be fixed. But what do you do for the 5 or 6 years?
But fixed how? I mean, are we going back to coal? Is it clean coal? Is it hydro? Is it solar? Is it natural gas?
Well, it's probably D, all the above, okay?
Okay.
But, and nuclear is the one that freaks everybody out. And but it's, and I'm not saying that's any time soon, maybe a decade or more, but there's a lot of talk about modular nuclear reactors, a little 500-megawatt nuclear reactor, not a big one. They're on ships. They're on Navy ships right now.
Sure.
Some bases have them, military bases. If you can get comfortable with it.
It's the way a submarine operates.
Yeah. A bunch of guys on a submarine with a nuclear reactor driving around the world.
Yeah. Which is scary, but, I mean, obviously there's safeguards that are in place. I mean, my wife's grandparents lived on Grand Gulf Road right outside of Port Gibson, and 10 miles past their house is, those nuclear reactors, and it was incredible, the seasonal employees that came in to do the maintenance and all the things that went along with that. Is there a shelf life? I mean, what's the argument against more nuclear reactors?
Oh, I think if you talk to lay people, or maybe one step above lay people, is the danger if something happens, and then what do you do with the spent fuel?
Yeah.
I had a guy not too long ago say, pull up a nuclear power plant. And I pulled up Arkansas Nuclear One because I'm from Arkansas. And he said, look, and I started looking at the aerial photographs, and those spent rods are stored on the parking lot at the plant. They're just in tubes. Crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot there.
Yeah.
There's a lot there, but a lot of good things happening as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wait, look, those song "The Future So Bright," we got to wear shades. Every now and then I gripe about being busy, and my wife said it could be the other way around. Don't gripe.
That's a good point. Is there any reason that other counties or county consortiums in Mississippi can't replicate what's happening at Link?
Well, I think they probably should. I went to Madison County, gave a speech 3 or 4 years ago, and divided the state up in regions, kind of like we're set up. And I said these are the areas that could win, and it needs to be done.
Thanks as always for your time, Joe Max Higgins with Link. We're back to wrap things up with you on the Gallo Show on SuperTalk Mississippi, live in West Point.